In the previous video, we spoke about the PS5 Pro and the value it has as compared to a new computer that you can purchase for around the same amount of money. And it got me thinking, beyond just the computer itself and beyond just the PS5 Pro and the hardware that it provides, you have to think about peripherals and about the screen as well. And so I thought, the PS5 obviously comes with a controller. Now, I'm not sure if it comes with one or two, but it definitely comes with at least one. And that obviously has inherent value because one of those controllers is, I'm not sure what it would cost, but it's $50 and up, I would think. And so it got me thinking, well, it's not fair to do a comparison just based on hardware because you have to consider the rest of it. And I thought to myself, well, what sort of value can you get out of the same price that you would purchase a TV for a PlayStation 5 Pro for? Because if we're talking about the TV specs, it needs to be something that is at least 60 Hertz, preferably faster than that. It has to be 4K, and it has to be a good panel, and it has to be quite big. And that is expensive. That's just the truth of it. Now, I know that most people don't purchase new screens when they get new consoles, but I think there are a subset of people that do. And just for the purposes of this conversation, I just want to take a look at the value that you could get from just the value of a new panel, a TV, as compared to the value of everything else that you would need when purchasing a computer, and the difference in cost that would have. Now, I've had a little bit of discourse in the comments, which I appreciate. To be honest, it's interesting to see the comments that people leave and the sort of arguments that they have for and against consoles and for and against computers. Because at the end of the day, we all just want to play games on these things, right? That's sort of the point of this. And so for me, it's really interesting to see what people are passionate about and to see people, sort of value those things. And so, yeah, it's been interesting to see that. And I do want to say I don't have anything against consoles. I think that they do hold value for a certain subset of people, and they obviously do. I mean, consoles are huge. They sell millions, and it should be that way. I think there is a big market for them, and there should be one. I do like the PlayStation 5 Pro. I think it's a fantastic device. It's just interesting to me to do these comparisons and to see sort of what comes up against it. So to get into the conversation, a new TV is expensive. So you have options. Now, I've just opened up a bunch of tabs and, just taken sort of like taken a pre-look at a bunch of options. So I'm looking at different options. This one is relatively expensive. Now, I don't know about America, but in South Africa, Hisense is considered quite a good brand. And this TV specifically is sort of middle of the road in terms of performance and quality. Maybe more to the upper side of it, but it's not the best TV out there. This is a ULED 4K, native 4K TV. And this one is 144 Hertz, and it has some technologies, full array local dimming, Game Mode Pro, Alexa, all of that kind of stuff. But here's the thing, these TVs are ridiculously expensive. So this one is $750 at 55 inches, which is not massive. It's not like this is a massive TV. I think we have a 60-inch TV, and we live in quite a small house, and it's big enough, but it's not like massive. So TVs are expensive. That's just the truth of it. Now, I do think this is a good TV. We also have a Hisense TV, and we're quite happy with it. And this one does have some gaming technology, so that's nice to see. It does have 144 Hertz, which is obviously not the highest refresh rate, but it's not bad. Let's take a look at another one. And I'm just taking a look at proper name brands, ones that I recognize. Now, maybe you recognize other ones, but this is just, for me. This one is better. This is a really good TV. This is an LG C3, also 55 inches, OLED, also 4K. And these are all smart TVs, of course. This one is AI powered, and it has a 120 Hertz refresh rate, which is obviously a little bit lower, but it's still pretty good, especially considering you're targeting 60 FPS for the PlayStation 5 Pro at 4K. So, but yeah, maybe if the resolution is a little bit lower, maybe gaming at 2K, you can reach in some games that 100 sort of frame rate mark, and something like this would do well. But here's the thing: even at a discount, this is $1,300 and $1,400. It's a lot of money for a TV. And obviously you can look at cheaper TVs. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. That's what I would do. Something like this maybe. But if you're just going to buy if you're going to buy an HD TV that is 48 inches or 42 inches, then I don't think that that's fair to compare that to computer monitor and components. And I'll explain why in a moment. Let's take a look at another TV. This is a Samsung 50 inch, so it's a little bit smaller. It's a QLED one, and it's also 4K. And this one has Quantum HDR and some nice technologies. This one is $600 at 50 inches, and this one in terms of refresh rate is only 60 hertz. So here's the thing: if you want to pay less, you are going to be sacrificing some things and probably sacrificing your refresh rate. Now, the TV that we have downstairs is also a Samsung 60 hertz, and it's 4K, and it's not like there isn't a use case for it. I have a little gaming PC downstairs, so if I'm playing Far Cry 5, I would run the graphics on. I have a 3070 in the PC downstairs, so you put the graphics on ultra, game at 4K, and you get around 100 FPS, which is not bad at all. And if it's capped at 60 FPS, you turn on VSync and you just game at 60 hertz. You just game at 60 FPS. That's just, it doesn't feel bad. It's not terrible, but it's not the penultimate gaming experience. So with that said, let's take a look at what you can get for $600. This one is $1,400, and this one is $750. So three options in terms of TVs, sort of the low end to the high end of TVs. Now for PCs, let's start out with this screen. Here's the thing about PC screens, about monitors. I'm sitting very close to this monitor. I have a 27-inch monitor here in front of me, the one that I'm looking at right now, and it's an HD panel, but it's 144 hertz. And you don't want, I think 32 inches is still okay, but for me 27 inches is the sweet spot for monitor sizes. Now of course this is based on person to person, it's whatever you like, but this is sort of half the size of a small-ish TV, and obviously you don't sit like this in front of a TV, so it doesn't make sense to get a TV that is to get a monitor that is as big as a TV. It just doesn't make sense. So let's take a look. $320, not on sale. So this is the price, and this one is obviously also, if you sit this close, 4K is fine. You can go 4K, but I don't feel like it's necessary. I think 2K is more than fine. I game at HD and I'm fine with it. So HD, well, in this case I'm looking at 2K screens just to make it a little bit more fair as to the comparison. But something like this, 27 inches, 2K, QHD, and 165 hertz, and it's a good screen overall. Not the best screen, but a pretty good screen. And this is $320. Let's take a look at another one. This is an LG QHD 27 inch, also 144 hertz, and it has NVIDIA G-Sync. And something like this is $250. Now it is on sale. It's usually $300. But it's a lot less money, even than a cheaper TV. You can get a TV for $300 or $250, but it's going to be a 42 to 48 inch TV. It's going to be HD, and it's not going to have a high refresh rate either. So it's really up to you. Again, I'm not doing this comparison to say one is better than the other. It depends on the person. But in my opinion, this is what I would do. I would buy a screen like this and, sit closer to it. And you have $600, $700, $800 left over, depending on the TV that you decide if you want to compare. So obviously you need a mouse and keyboard. So let's take a look at those. Now I've just chosen generic ones. SteelSeries is a good brand. I think most people recognize that. And this is a good keyboard. Not the best thing in the world, not the worst thing in the world. It's just a middle of the road keyboard. And this is $50. So it depends on what you like. You don't have to go SteelSeries. You can go Logitech. You can go Red Dragon. You can go Corsair. It doesn't really matter. But the point is that this is $50. So we are at, let's say we go with the more expensive screen. We go with the $320 screen. We are at $370. Now we add a nice wireless mouse to it. It doesn't have to be wireless, doesn't have to be Logitech, just whatever you want. This is a universally recognized good mouse. So we are at basically $400. And we have a keyboard, a mouse. We can add a mouse pad to this. That's going to cost us $20. So let's say, let's be generous and say $450 for a keyboard, mouse pad, screen. The cheapest TV that we looked at was more than that. The cheapest one was $600. And here's the thing: we haven't even spoken about sound. So you can now add speakers to this. You can probably add speakers and a headset to this PC peripheral combo, and you will be under $600. Whereas if you add a soundbar to this, even at the cheapest TV, you are going to be spending $200. So again, it depends on what you like, it depends on what you want, but for me, I just see so much more value in computer peripherals and components, and the flexibility to choose what you want. You can choose how it looks, you can go RGB, non-RGB, and it's just personable, it's personalized, and you can have whatever you want, of course depending on if you can afford it, but it's just a more personalized thing, and I enjoy sitting close to the screen, having full autonomy of everything that I see. And you know, because I do have both, because I have the TV downstairs, I use that for gaming as well, and it's more difficult for me to play on that PC than it is on this one, especially in precise games like first person shooters. So yeah, that's about it. It really depends on what it is that you want, but both are valid and both are good ways to game. It just depends on the person. For me, I like this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.